There was another fence in 1998 that was also installed and permitted. So here's a property map of the property in question, highlighted in red. Here's an aerial of the property. Here's the topography. It is a fairly flat property in general. And then here are pictures that staff took of the exterior of the property. And then this is the submittal that you received in your packets, as well as that is on our website. So our conditional use findings. The spirit and intent, the proposed use does comply with the spirit and intent of the zoning resolution. There were not any adverse effects to the public health, safety, and general welfare that staff found. The applicant has not proposed any significant changes to the exterior, so it should keep in character of the existing neighborhood, and that the applicant did also state that landscaping would be the house and landscaping would also be professionally maintained. The short-term rental stated that it would respect the natural, scenic, and historic features of significant public interest, and that the granting of the conditional use would not impact any governmental services to the property or the area. So it is consistent with adopted plans as stated in the package you received. And these are the conditional use findings in relation to the criteria outlined in 5.4 I-15. The parking will be located in the driveway, so it is found compliant with criteria F, as well as H. As the applicant has stated, all cars will be parked in the driveway, and there's a 2-car maximum for the property. The applicant stated there is no smoking or parties allowed at the house, and it's a 4-guest maximum. And that they will be monitoring the property with cameras. There's no proposed changes to the existing structure. There's no changes proposed to the exterior lighting. The applicant stated they would provide contact information for themselves, the township, and if any issues should arise, the property or the neighbors can contact the property using the posted information. And there will be no there will be no meals served at the property, and then an emergency plan is provided in the house manual for the property. And then these are the standards to be considered for the board. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Any questions for staff?
Nope. None.
Will the appellant or the appellant's representative please step forward, state their name and any affiliation with the case?
I'm Elizabeth Robinson. I'm the property owner of 1220 Bondic Drive.
Thank you. Is there anything you wish to add in addition to what staff has already presented?
No, I just brought my house manual and also some pictures of the inside of the home.
Any questions from the board?
None. Do you want to submit that? Is that what you're
Yes.
looking to do?
Thank you.
No questions?
No questions.
I have no question.
Thank you.
Well, did you say, I thought I read somewhere, do you not live in this area?
I live here part-time. I'd like to keep my home when I'm visiting my family and my daughters, and then be able to stay in my home when I'm here and then rent it out short-term when I'm not.
Where do you actually, where is your permanent residence?
Eastern Kentucky. I just got married in September. My husband would like to see me home more.
That's it for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of this appeal? Seeing none, does anyone wish to speak in opposition to this appeal? Seeing none, do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Sion?
Aye. Anyone wish to start us off with this application?
To me, it seems pretty standard with what we've been doing with these for the last year or so. I don't see any issues, and I think it's fine.
Agree. Have they submitted the emergency plan?
We have it.
You have it? Because in the report said they will provide, and I didn't know if they have actually provided it.
Yeah, so with the submission that they gave us today, we do have it on file now. So,
Okay, and it's acceptable?
yeah, I mean, with short-term rentals, that's kind of a tricky condition as the fire department does not require those for short-term rentals.
Right.
So it's a little difficult, I would say, from a legal perspective for us to enforce that as a zoning department as opposed to a fire department, but staff's happy with what they submitted.
Okay, that was the only question I had.
Sure.
Any other questions?
None?
No.
Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, in the case 4-2024 BZA, we grant the conditional use request, citing the staff report and the additional evidence provided by the owner.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Sion?
Aye. And with that, we've approved it via straw poll. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. Staff, when will you have their documentation ready?
We'll be in touch next week.
Thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate it.
And with that, will staff please read the report for case 5-2024?
So this is case 5-2024 BZA. The applicant is Jacob Saunders and Sarah Bushman. They're the property owners. It is at 760 Pickwick Drive. It is Zone B, single family residence. And their request is a variance request to allow a 6-foot-high wooden privacy fence in the front yard setback along the southern lot line of a double frontage lot, where only a 4-foot-high, 75% open fences are permitted per Article 5.2A9 of the Anderson Township zoning resolution. The applicant has proposed to construct a 6-foot-high wooden privacy fence along the southern lot line in the front yard area of a double frontage lot adjacent to Woodruff Road. The proposed fence would be 91 feet in length, located outside the right-of-way, approximately 18.5 feet from the edge of pavement on Woodruff Road. The proposed fence would be lined up with the western neighbor's existing privacy fences. The proposed fence would be in the same place as the previously existing privacy fence that was torn down. Just some history on this property. The house was built in 1971. The current owner purchased the property in February of 2024. It does have 2 zoning certificates on file. In 1992, a fence permit was issued for a split rail fence on the side and rear yard and a privacy fence along the southern lot line where the current fence is being proposed. After review by our staff, the zoning certificate shouldn't have been issued as the site plan was not accurate due to no indication it was a double frontage lot on the site plan. The proposed fence was placed in the front yard setback where privacy fence isn't permitted. And in 2024, the property owners received a zoning certificate to replace the existing split rail fence with Kentucky board fence. And during inspection of the property, for the Board of Zoning Appeals, it was discovered that the privacy fence has already been installed where the owners are requesting a variance. This is the property outlined in red. Aerial map, a topography map. And these are some pictures of what the fence looks like as of now. And this is the submittal that you received in your packets, and that's posted on our website. Some of our findings is staff is in the opinion that the variance could be substantial. The proposed 6-foot high privacy fence would be 2 feet higher than the allowable height in a front yard. Additionally, a privacy fence would not meet the standard of more than 75% open. The fence is also proposed to be located on the property line where 35 feet is required, since this is a double frontage lot. As stated in the property history, a privacy fence was approved in the proposed location before it came down. This property shouldn't have received the zoning certificate, as the site plan didn't indicate that the lot was a double frontage. The essential character of the neighborhood wouldn't be altered. The fence would connect with the existing privacy fence on the property of 752 Pickwick, which faces Woodruff Road, which received a variance with case 9/2021. The proposed fence would be a setback of 18.5 feet from the edge of pavement on Woodruff Road and would connect to the fence at 752 Pickwick. And it wouldn't adversely affect the delivery of governmental services. The property owner's predicament can be feasibly alleviated through some other method other than a variance. The property owner could construct a 6-foot high privacy fence as long as it met a 35-foot front yard setback from the southern property line. Although this would significantly reduce the size of the applicant's yards, and it would not line up with the neighbor's fence. In addition, the applicant is permitted to construct a 4-foot high, 75% open fence anywhere on the property. The applicant could also place landscaping in lieu of a privacy fence. However, these options would not mitigate the noise that comes from I-275 and may not be as successful in securing the applicant's yard. Staff is of the opinion that the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement wouldn't be observed by granting the variance. As stated in case 9/2021, the height and style of the proposed fence, the distance of the proposed fence from Woodruff Road, and the minimal setback from the southern property line do not fall in line with the zoning resolution. However, a variance for a 6-foot tall privacy fence was granted for the adjacent property at 752 Pickwick. And these are the standards to be considered.
Any questions for staff?
None.
Thank you. The appellant or the appellant's representative, please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, state your name, address, and any affiliation with the case.
Hi, I'm Sarah Bushman.
Jacob Saunders.
We live at 760 Pickwick. Just a few things to add. When we moved in February, there was already the privacy fence there. The front yard did not, it had kind of like they had started a Kentucky board and then didn't continue with it. So I did 2 permits, one for I actually originally did 1 permit, and then Stephen let us know that we had a double frontage lot, which to be honest, I never knew that existed. So then we did a permit for just the Kentucky board, which was in the pictures, and that's already been done. And then we did a second permit for the privacy fence that hits Woodruff. And you can kind of see there must have been 2 different installments of that privacy fence, because there's some older sections, and then we assume the people who bought it before that bought it in July and renovated it. So I'm assuming that they did that middle section. So when we moved in, especially because there's 2 different installments, we thought that that would be up to code, but we were still planning on replacing it because it doesn't really look uniform. Our neighbor has a really nice one. Hers looks good. We just wanted to make it align. And as we noted, the Kentucky board in that section, it wouldn't look good with the whole section altogether. It goes privacy fence and then suddenly it would be a Kentucky board. And it does not help mitigate the noise and the lights from Woodruff. And there's also that intersection with Sandcar Lane that when people are turning on, the lights come in that way. Woodruff is not a slow road. It's just a little chaotic, and we're doing it mainly for just the privacy and the safety that a Kentucky board just can't give, even with landscaping added in.
And there's also the neighbors across the street, their mailbox is over on our side, so it's not.
Yeah, we didn't think it was a double frontage because there's someone else's mailbox on that side also. But
Any questions on the board?
So you think that the fence was in disrepair, and then did someone bought the house, rehabbed it, and then you bought it recently?
Yes, so they bought it in July, and then when we bought it, I think in my letter I put in the Zillow listing to show we did not do that install, and we were just gonna take that down and replace it with a better looking one that was uniform, and then also did the Kentucky border in the front. And then Stephen let me know that's a double frontage, so it's a different ballgame. So when we, yeah.
The rotting edges are falling down, so I had to kind of like.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's
think
got
about
Yeah.
it.
the
We have
older
2
section.
dogs, and I have nephews, and we're gonna be having kids, and
Okay.
But we have
Busy
not,
road.
we have not taken it down. As of right now, we haven't touched that side
Okay.
because we don't know, we don't want to do the wrong thing.
Okay.
But
I have no further questions.
No questions?
No question.
Thank you.
okay.
Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of this appeal? Please step forward, state your name and affiliation.
My name is Eileen Jelson. I live next door to the property in question,
Sorry, what's your address?
768 Pickwick.
Thank you.
I've lived next door there since 1987, and while there was a permit, apparently in 1992, for a split rail fence, the actual privacy fence that they're speaking of has been there since we've lived there in 1987. So it's been there a long time. That fence is the original part of it, the part that is old and propped up at this point, has been there for 40 years. There were flippers that bought the house, and they put in the privacy fence board by board. So it is, instead of buying sections, they bought individual boards. It's very scalloped looking. I just want to say my husband and I approve of them putting in the privacy fence, especially since the development off of Woodruff has been put in. There's a significant amount of traffic noise, and the speed of the cars on Woodruff makes that property without that kind of a fence not a safety issue for pets and for children. On top of the lights that come through. And it goes right through to our backyard too, so we benefit from the privacy fence, so we certainly approve of it. The fence at 752 was approved. It would connect to it. It would be of similar style and would connect and look appropriate. That issue came up with the property at 752 as being double frontage. As you can see by the picture, it is more a backyard than a front yard. So those are my comments.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of this appeal? Were you sworn in, ma'am? No. Please come forward. Raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please state your name, address, and any affiliation.
My name is Michelle White. I live at 752 Pickwick. That's the house next door, which this committee kindly gave me a variance for. And originally, I just had a 4-foot chain link fence, but you wisely understood the effects of the development and the issues reducing the quality of life in my home, and granted the variance. Since this is my fence was 192 feet. This is such a small section, and be honest with you, for years since I moved in there, that property was really an eyesore, and no one said a word about it. And it seems kind of crazy when some new couple comes in and they want to make it nice, then there's a problem. So I sure hope that you'll grant them the same graciousness you gave me and approve the fence so everything can look uniform and enhance the overall enjoyment of our neighborhood.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of this appeal? Seeing none, does anyone wish to speak in opposition to this appeal? Seeing none, can we get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Sion?
Aye. Who'd like to start us off with this case?
I will. Just given the fact that we already granted the fencing for 752 and then the safety factor of Woodruff Road, I don't see a problem with this at all. It'll look more uniform and better for everybody.
I agree.
I agree. Actually, I was on the board when we did that other one. So, yes, I agree.
Any other discussion? Can we get a motion?
Yep. Mr. Chairman, in the case of BZA 5-2024, I move that we grant the variance, citing the staff report, citing the grant of a variance for a similar nature for 752. And it's for a variance for the frontage on Woodruff only.
A second?
What? Go ahead if you got you got a question.
So they also need a variance for the piece that goes 35 feet back. So they can
Oh,
only.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
okay. For the-
6-foot high fence where only a 4-foot, 75% open would be allowed.
Amended the same.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are there any conditions that staff would recommend?
We-
Just the two standard.
Two standard conditions, commence work within 1 year, finish within 2. I think you can do that.
In accordance with the plans? You want in accordance with the plans?
Yeah.
In accordance with the plans dated March 14th?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
Mr. Sheckles?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Science?
Aye. With that, your case is approved by a straw vote. Staff will be in touch with you when you can come and get your final paperwork.
Hmm?
And with that, will staff please start us off with case 7-2024 BZA?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Board. So the applicant is Brad Agnello. I will let him correct me on that one. Of the Kleinger's Group on behalf of Anderson Township Park District, who is the property owner of 3969 Round Bottom Road. That's the Riverside Park, for those who are unaware. The zoning is the H riverfront. It should not be single family. And then the request is for 2 variances for field lighting and fencing. The lighting poles proposed are at 70 feet. Our maximum height is 45 feet. And then there's a 6-foot tall chain link fence in the front yard area, which is 30 feet away from the right of way, where 50 feet would be required per Article 3.20C1 and Article 3.20C2 of the C2A of the Anderson Township zoning resolution. So the proposed development is for 2 multi-use synthetic fields for soccer, football, lacrosse, with field lighting to allow for evening games, and then a protective netting to ensure that balls and other items aren't being directed toward the road, or at least being caught for those that are. So some history behind the property. The current property is deeded to the Anderson Township Park District. It was done in 1993 as part of the Anderson Township Bicentennial Celebration to serve as a park for residents. The zoning certificate was issued in January of '94 for the development of the site as a recreation area containing football, baseball, soccer fields with parking, restrooms, and concessions. The original zoning certificate for the development was for the whole site, and then only the southern half was completed in '94. The proposed synthetic fields and lighting will be located on the northern portion of the park. Anderson Township Park District applied for variances to construct a very similar development on the other side of the eastern parking lot in 2010, which was case 8/2010, and they were approved for those variance requests. So here's the property in question, the property map. There's the aerial, and you can see again in that northern portion of the parcel, you can see the existing synthetic fields that were heard during case 8/2010. Here's topography. Here are pictures of the existing site, currently a grass field. There's currently a gravel parking lot there right now with fake coyotes, I think, to scare some of the birds away. And then this is the applicant's submittal, including photometric plans, a site plan, and other drawings as well. So findings, staff is of the opinion that variances are not substantial. While the field lighting poles will be 70 feet to 80 feet, there's where a maximum height of 45 feet is allowed or required. The lighting will be directed onto the fields. Traditionally, the maximum height that this portion of our zoning resolution is referencing is intended for new structures like homes or like buildings in that area, not for necessarily lighting. And that would be in the H district. And then it's definitely not intended for lighting poles, intended for athletic fields. The photometric plan indicates that it is compliant with the lighting standards for properties adjacent to the industrial district. And then I believe the riverfront has the same standards as well. Centric character of the neighborhood would not be altered. Again, there's a more or less a mirroring development that was done across the parking lot, and it's currently used as a park. It should be same use, just a synthetic field instead of grass, and then with additional lighting and netting. It would not adversely affect the delivery of governmental services. It cannot be feasibly obviated through other method other than a variance. Again, both are intended for safety measures and being able to utilize the park during evening hours. And then staff is of the opinion that the spirit and intent behind the zoning resolution would be observed by granting the variance. The lighting poles and 6-foot fence are still significantly far away from the right-of-way at 34 feet, and then it's about 64 feet to the center line of the road. And then these are the standards to be considered. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Any questions for staff?
None.
With that, would the appellant please step forward, state their name, address, and any affiliation to the case?
I'm Brad Dagnello with the Kleinger's Group. I live in the city of Cincinnati. I don't know if you need my address.
Address. No.
Okay, 4320 32nd Avenue. We're civil engineers, land surveyors that are helping the Park District out with this development.
Mike Smith, Anderson Park District, 8249 Clough Pike.
No, I think Stephen basically covered it. I mean, this is a continuation of the two fields that were built in 2010. Same type of light pole type netting, light pole and protective netting that you see. I think one thing to note is, yeah, the write-ups have called it two fields. It's two short-sided fields, so not quite as large or not nearly as large as the two full-size soccer fields, the two short-sided fields, where really it's striped for 4 short-sided fields today. So that's the way the new synthetic turf is going to be striped. You mentioned the gravel parking there on the southern end of the site. That gravel has actually been removed, and it was probably just bare earth then when you were there taking pictures. The idea that's no longer going to be really used for any overflow, and it's going to be seeded. It was really only leaves left the kind of the maintenance entrance drive into the park.
Any questions from the board?
No pickleball courts?
Not at this location, but stay tuned for Kellogg Park here real soon. So.
So the light, what is the height of the lights on the other fields? Are they the same?
It's very similar. Yeah.
75-ish?
I think they're 65 to 75 range, I believe.
Okay. So this is essentially just a duplicate of the...
Yeah, the
other
existing
field.
field is 2 fields. The new field will be 1 full-size
Right.
soccer field with the 2-sided, short-sided fields. So very similar in design.
Any other questions?
None.
Thank you.
I think just one thing,
Sure, please.
on the last, I don't know if we're talking about conditions yet. Can we talk about that here?
Sure.
There's a condition on the gravel drive entry and parking lot. As I mentioned, the gravel parking lot or overflow lot was removed, only leaving the gravel entrance drive, which is really just used for maintenance vehicles. Any traffic that's coming to use the fields is using the curb cut just south of that. So all the main traffic in and out of there is on that side. And so I think we're asking for that condition to be scratched here, knowing it's just a maintenance drive and the gravel lot is no longer there.
I think from a staff perspective is more about pulling the gravel lot in compliance with the zoning resolution. I think amending it maybe as a maintenance drive only is that.
So,
I think that'd be fine with staff if it's just used for maintenance.
so, yeah, so it needs to be qualified that the gravel drive is for maintenance vehicles and service vehicles only.
Yeah, that would be fine with staff.
Okay.
Again, it's more or less, if it was used as a parking lot, then it would need to be brought into compliance with our current zoning resolution, but if it's just maintenance, I think we're fine with
Okay.
what they presented.
Being open, there would be no way to prevent the public from using it, though.
Sure.
Just from our standpoint.
Yeah, maybe signage, maybe just put up a signage to say maintenance entrance or something. Something to that effect, I think would be fine.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
No?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of this appeal? Seeing none, does anyone wish to speak in opposition to this appeal? Seeing none, can we get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved?
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Science?
Aye. Who'd like to start us off with case 7-2024?
Go ahead, Steve.
Basically, I only see this as a positive for the township. It'll give us more space to use year-round, especially winter training, things like that. It's in an area where the lights aren't going to affect anything or any residential property, so I see it as positive.
I agree.
All I can say is that soccer in my youth was a European sport.
Did they even have soccer balls back then?
No,
Okay.
not in America.
Any other comments, questions? We get a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, in case of BZA 6-2024, I move that we grant the 2 variants and reference the staff report. The plan submitted by Anderson Township dated March of 2024. The photometric report dated March 13th of 24. One condition would be that they put some kind of signage at the gravel drive area indicating it's for maintenance purposes only. It was 1 year start, 2 year finish.
I noted in the staff report you requested a plan that is scalable. Is that still required?
Sure, that's more or less a formality. The plans they submitted were close, but weren't exact. So just, again, for record's sake, just making sure we have a scalable plan, and we talked with Brad, so he said he'll get that to us shortly thereafter.
We have a motion. Do we have any amendments? Do we have a second?
Second?
A motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Science?
Aye. With that, your case is approved via straw poll. Staff will be in touch when you can get your final documentation. Thank you.
Thanks.
And with that, will staff take us on to case 7-2024?
Thank you, board. So for case 7, the applicant is Stephen and Joey Self, the property owners of 7080 Hunley Road. The zoning is A2, single-family residence, and the request is for a short-term rental at the property 7080 per Article 5.4 I-15 of the Anderson Township zoning resolution. So the applicant is proposing to operate a short-term rental in an existing single-family home and has not proposed any changes to the exterior of the property. And they indicated that they would use Airbnb and VRBO as the rental platforms for their short-term rental. The home was constructed in 1880. The current property owners purchased the home in October of 2022. There are no zoning certificates on file for the property. Staff did note a shed on the property in the side yard area that didn't receive zoning approval. I had a discussion with Mr. Self, and he stated that that's how it came when they purchased the property, and they plan on applying for variance at the May Board of Zoning Appeals to make sure that is a compliant structure. And these are the pictures of the property. And in the submittal. And then the conditional use findings, again, spirit and intent would be compliant. There would not be any adverse effects that staff found for the short-term rental. The applicant hasn't proposed any significant changes. The appearance would be consistent with the character of the neighborhood, and that the applicant did state it would be maintained and landscaped professionally. The short-term rental would respect the natural, scenic, historic features of significant public interest, and there would not be an impact to governmental services. Again, this short-term rental would be consistent with adopted township plans. And for conditional use findings, it was compliant. Parking would be located in the driveway, which is 65 feet from where the parcel line, whereas the front yard setback is 40 feet. The applicant stated that all cars would be parked in the driveway, which is located at the end of the private drive, and there is a 3-car maximum. The applicant established quiet hours along with no parties, loud music, smoking, drug use, and there are multiple cameras on the property for enforcement, and the applicant has stated the rental would be marketed towards working professionals and families. It was found compliant as there were no proposed changes to the existing structure or lighting, and the applicant stated that they would provide contact information for themselves, the township, and on neighbors' mailboxes. If any problems would arise, neighbors could contact them using the posted information. There would be no meals served on the property, and then an emergency plan would be provided to residents indicating contact information for fire, hospital, police, and then contact information as well on the plan. And these are standards to be considered. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Any questions for staff?
None.
Thank you. Will the appellant or the appellant's representative please step forward, state their name, address, and any affiliation to the case?
Stephen Self at 7080 Hunley Road, property owner.
Joe B. South, 7080 Hunley Road, property owner.
Is there anything you wish to add to the staff testimony?
Just the fact that, yeah, the shed came with the purchase of the home. We weren't aware of it, but definitely going to have that on the next hearing for May for sure. So that's top of the mind for us.
So where do you guys live? Do you live?
We
You
live
don't
in the
live
home.
at 7080?
Yes, we live in the home.
Oh, you do live there? And how will you be renting it? Will you be living with the renters?
Oh, no. We'll stay at my mom's house. She lives down the street.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll actually move out and move.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions from the board?
None.
Is that pad in the front of the property? Is that where the parking is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty large parking spot. It can hold up to 6, but we were saying 3 cars max.
Oh, okay.
Is that a shared driveway between
No,
you and the 3
no.
houses?
We're at the end of a
Other-
private drive, so that entire parking lot is ours.
But then you drive past the first 2 houses, so
Yeah.
do you share maintenance for all that, to maintain all that?
Each property is actually that person's yard. I guess they put the drive through the front yards.
Mhm.
So each parcel takes care of their own area. We take care of everything on our side.
It's just the only thing we share is the drive.
It's just a driveway
Okay.
that goes through there, yeah.
Okay.
The bridge doesn't work anymore, does it?
Well, that also came a little broken. I think that's why they put the road there, but yeah, it's a cute little bridge, but definitely not. I guess they had looked into it previously, and there's pretty large costs associated and more movement, so we just block it off and use the driveway.
Any
I'm
other
good.
questions?
I'm good.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of this appeal? Seeing none, does anyone wish to speak in opposition to this appeal? Seeing none, can we get a motion to close it? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
My name is Ting Hu. I'm the manager of 2 house down, 7076 Honey Road. I bought this house, used my self-directed IRA account. I'm saving the money, trying to finish it up. the intention is single-family house use. I'm strictly strongly opposed for this short-term rental that could diminishing the value of my property. And this is not a big community for the houses setting. If you see the county map, this small community only have 3 households. And when I purchased this house, which is a bank short sale, I understand previous owner, of course, he's deceased from cancer, had granted an easement for the broken bridge being abandoned, so he had the whole parcel. He gave the easement. Of course, he cannot stand here and argue against the use of this property. The easement is strictly intent grant for private use, not for any business purpose. So, short-term rental residents, as you know, as many cities, of course, this board can have different consideration. The trend of the nation is they found the disturbance of the neighborhood safety. So we I, as owner, and the easement given by the property is not for commercial use for this property down the street.
Any questions?
None.
Do you know if there's a recorded easement for the driveway?
Based on the title company, yeah, there's a record easement.
Okay.
They fight really hard on it because I know this small community, so only 3 houses. It's not like a big long street. It's very concerned for me, and that's my. I'm not sure. I'm kind of adventurous in type. After retired from Procter & Gamble, I used all my retirement money because I'm not comfortable with stock market. So I put my life saving into this account. And of course I invested in other account, but the interest rate is so high. When I finish other house, it's very hard to sell in this high interest environment. I just got that house on the contract. I'm so excited I can afford to fix this beautiful house for some profit and turn this into short-term rental is kind of scare me. I don't know. You can have good talent. I myself use Airbnb, travel a lot to Europe. I enjoy the benefit. But when you sit down, think about your own house, have some noise concern, and it's really heart-wrenching.
So you said you're the property manager, the what property you own there? Is it
This
rented
is a
out?
self-directed IRA. It's my retirement account.
So is that property you have, is that being used as a rental?
No, it's currently waiting to be
Rehabbed? Okay.
Because I'm worried about the inflation. I grab more than I can handle.
When did you purchase that property?
I had just have another house under the same LLC under contract. It should be closed in end of this month.
The one on Hunley though, when was that purchased?
2022.
Okay, and then the plan is once it's rehabbed, you're gonna sell it on the open market?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I really have been very happy on the appreciation on the value. So I wish the committee can have second consideration on this, my personal opinion. I don't know my neighbor in the middle is here or not. Maybe the middle house, the gentleman let the son live in it. So maybe the son didn't pay attention to this email. I asked my lawyer draft me letters. They say, well, you can't ask me Monday to show up in the board and Thursday. So, but here my lawyer drafted a letter because I didn't mention to the easement things to him. He could do some search and add more information on in regard to easement.
So you do not live on Hunley?
Currently, I'm living in a rental property from my in Mason.
In Mason?
Because yeah.
Do you intend to live on Hunley, or are you just flipping?
I can. That's the dilemma and the financial burden on myself also. Based on self-derived IRA, I cannot live in there. I'm paying rent. So waiting for the capital get turned around.
Okay. Thank you.
It's self-dealing if I live in a house which purchased by my IRA money. I can. Do I need to submit this letter, my lawyer's letter?
Yeah, you can submit it.
Could you pass the letter down?
Yeah. Any other questions from the board?
No.
We'll give you a sec. We'll have you up here in a second,
Okay.
sir. Anyone else wish to speak either in favor or in opposition to this appeal? Seeing none, would the appellant please, would you like to present any rebutting testimony?
Yeah, caught me off guard a little bit. So that house is basically abandoned. It's an eyesore. It's completely unlivable, and we moved into the house with that house in that condition. So we've never said anything to her about that. She doesn't plan on living in the home as you guys have stated, as she stated to you. I don't understand why she would have any type of disagreement with the home that A, she doesn't live in, and B, she plans to sell and make a profit. But she can make money and do her things with her houses, but I can't make any type of profit with my home because she's concerned. I don't think that's fair. That's all I have to say.
Any questions for the appellant?
As my state, I didn't intend to abandon the house. This house is very big, need a significant capital to bring it to life. I'm a self-taught house restorationer. I have a long list of the house I bring to very almost total rundown and to beautiful condition. I just finished a house in Hamilton. I bought it for $38,000, and it was listed on the market, beautiful house, at $315,000. I'm working hard for my retirement. I have no intention to abandon this house. As I state to this board, I'm running short in capital. I maintain the house, and in the way I'm waiting for my capital to restore. I'll turn to the county, a beautiful house, as another one.
Any other questions from the board?
Nope.
Would you like to make a last statement, sir?
This will be my final statement. So, again, the house is abandoned. It's currently abandoned. It's an eyesore. The roof is falling in. It shouldn't be allowed to be in the condition that it's in right now. But again, I haven't said anything. So I don't think, again, I'm going to leave it at this. She intends to purchase and sell the homes and make profits as she's done with her current LLC or whatever company she has. And she's concerned about people doing the same thing. Again, I just don't think that's fair, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. That's it.
We're done, ma'am.
Okay.
We've heard everybody's testimony. Thank you, though. Can we get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence.
Aye.
Mr. Shepherd.
Aye.
Mr. Halpin.
Aye.
Mr. Stein.
Aye. With that, would someone like to lead us off in case number 7-2024 BZA?
I will. Seems like we've approved a lot of these over the last year or so. Sometimes there's some contention with it, but we've not had any issues with these. And the little blue house across the street, we've approved also as a short-term rental on Hunley as well. I don't really see a problem with this, is my opinion.
I don't see a problem with it either.
Mr. Shekels, did you have anything to add?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
With that, do we have a motion from the board?
Yes, in case number 7-2024 BZA, we move that we grant the conditional use request. Condition would be that they apply for the variance for the shed structure on the property, and that at the outcome of that will determine when you could start renting. Okay, that if it's granted, they could rent it at that point. If it's not granted, then they would have to remove the shed prior to granting. No, I can't do that? Are there two different issues?
It's two different approvals. So you're looking to approve the conditional use tonight, whereas the shed is a variance.
Okay.
So you need to look at the conditional use itself with the knowledge that they do have a shed in violation, that they've written in statement that they're planning to submit in May, that they're aware that they're in violation.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, then I'll amend it to say that they are putting in a variance for the shed on the property in May.
That's fine.
Okay. Amended, so amended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Science?
Aye. With that, your case is approved by straw vote. Staff will be in touch with you on the next steps. Staff, please read the report for case 8-2024 BZA.
Thank you, staff. Or, I am staff. Thank you, board.
Mr. Harness.
I appreciate your humor. So the applicant for case 8-2024 is Tim Yaks. The location of his property is 7583 Ayers Road. They're at the corner of Asbury and Ayers. The zoning is AA for that property, and the variance request is for two additions, a two-story covered porch and a front porch with front yard setback of 30.3 feet and 36.2 feet, where a 50-foot is required per Article 3.1 due D to AI of the Anderson Township zoning resolution. The applicant has proposed to construct that is incorrect. So the applicant is proposing to do three additions, two of which would require a variance from the front yard setback. It's a double frontage lot, so there is one on. So the two additions in question are, the two additions on, I believe that would be Asbury on Ayers Road, is going to be 30.3 feet from the right-of-way on Ayers, and 36.2 feet on the Ayers Road. So some history with this property. It was built in 1839. It has a non-conforming front yard setback currently at 38 feet. And there's one permit on file from October of 2004 for a second-story addition. The applicant purchased this property on January 3rd in 2019. So here you can see that double frontage with the topography map. The property is the one in question. It has quite a change in topography. Here's the aerial of the map. Topography again. And then here are some photos that we were able to take from our inspection of the property. So right here, where the current garage is where one of the additions will go, as you saw in your enclosed plans. And then the two additions will go on this side of the house on the left-hand side towards, again, it looked like Ayers Road or Asbury Road. And then here is the submittal by the applicant. And then here you can see again where those variances would be required for those two right here along the second frontage on Asbury. So for staff's findings, staff is of the opinion that this the variance is not substantial. The existing structure is currently in a non-conforming setback. Again, it was constructed in the 1800s. Obviously, the Anderson Township zoning resolution was not around at that time. The addition will only encroach an additional 8 feet into the front yard setback, and there are neighboring properties that, again, have a similarly non-conforming setback. The essential character of the neighborhood would not be altered. Again, the home is 185 years old, and the additions are meant to complement the architecture of the existing home, and it would not adversely affect the delivery of governmental services. The owner's predicament may not be obviated through some other method other than a variance. Again, the house was built prior to the zoning resolution, and it is currently located in the front yard setback. Therefore, any modification to the front of the house would encroach into the required setback. And staff is of the opinion that the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would be observed by granting the variance. While the addition would be encroaching on the 50-foot setback, the improvements would enhance and preserve the historic home. And then these are the standards to be considered. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Any questions for staff?
Nope. None.
Thank you, staff. Will the appellant or the appellant's representative please step forward, state your name, address, and any affiliation to the case.
Tim Yax, 7583 Ayers Road, one of the owners.
Lee Wagner, 7583 Ayers Road, another of the owner.
We're fiance, not married yet. So, we bought the house 5 years ago, and if everybody here probably knows that house. And our goal really is just to beautify it. It's time to just do stuff, make it look better. That side of the house is, to me, it's kind of boring. And one of the things we want to do is just make it that it's inviting, and it's something that, you know, that area of Coldstream is proud to look at and see, especially the golfers and guests and everything. So we would just want to add that, just some dimension to it, and put some covered porches to kind of give it a little bit of a southern look to it, and just make it more beautiful.
Any questions for the appellant?
So you guys live there?
Yeah.
Okay. And how many rooms are in that house? Total rooms?
I think we've got 4 bedrooms, 6 baths, a family room, kitchen, living room, dining room, so quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just 2-car garage?
Just a 2-car garage. And unfortunately, I like cars.
So you can stack them?
Yes.
Yeah, so our goal on that is, yes, to not elongate the house, but kind of for the garage side, to bring the garage to 2 and 2.
Yeah.
And then above the garage, have another nicely covered area that where you can then look out at the golf course.
And then on the air side, that's just gonna be a porch area.
That's on the Asbury side that faces the
Asbury
driveway.
side, I'm sorry,
Correct.
Asbury
Yeah.
side,
So
yes.
it'll be a 2-story
Porch.
porch in the one side.
Okay, approximately 7 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then a little, right now, if you went past the house, there's just like a little deck,
Yeah.
which is shaky in my mind. And make it more of a concrete deck with an overhang, a metal overhang. So it's just beautiful. It has dimension and good look
All right.
to it.
It's not enclosed in any way
No,
with
No.
that won't
any
be.
screening or anything.
No, not at all.
No, they'll all be open.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
Thank you.
Sure, thanks. Oh, by the way, before I forget, I have a sign in the back of my truck that was in the yard. It was blown over. Do you want me to bring it in after this? Yeah. Perfect. I figured it'll save you the trip. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of this appeal? Please state your name, address, and any affiliation.
Yes, thank you. My name is Pat Thompson. I live at 321 Asbury, and I am neighbors of this property. And I'm like you. There were soccer balls back when we were around. I have lived there 52 years. My wife and I, Penny, have lived there 52 years. This couple has purchased that house 5 years ago, and they have made more improvements in that property than anyone else in the previous 47 years. I and my wife have looked at these plans. We are absolutely amazed at how much we think that these improvements will improve this property, and not only that, is the whole neighborhood. We live in that little square house there on the corner. We are maybe 25 feet from the road, and we see no problem with that or no traffic problems at all. I would unanimously approve of this board approving this addition to these houses. Thank you. If there are any questions, I will be more glad to help.
So you can't see the pickleball courts then?
Well, unfortunately, I was one of those people that opposed those pickleball, but this board, I relented and didn't come to the last meeting, so therefore I went forward. Now, there is a proposal, if you were going to go on this, that there might be pickleball courts, that the property was just given to to Coldstream here on the other corner. And we will be back fighting that if that proposal comes forward.
And your area is your property is the triangle?
Yes, the little triangle there.
Okay.
I think you were here for the sign.
You were also here when we did the sign?
Yes, yeah, you know.
I recognized you when you're here. I couldn't figure out which case it was.
Well, it's not that I particularly.
No.
I would love to meet you personally and have a drink or something, but at this point, I don't really care to.
Yeah, no. There's no animosity there. In fact, I believe we approved the removal of the signs.
Yeah, it was been up for a year, and it's only supposed to be up for 6 months or something.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of the appeal? Not seeing anybody wishing to speak in opposition to the appeal.
Do you remember the case?
With that, can we get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence.
Aye.
Mr. Shekels.
Aye.
Mr. Halpin.
Aye.
Mr. Scion.
Aye. With that, will somebody start us off?
Yeah, I mean, I see nothing but positive here. It's only going to enhance the character and the appearance of the house and overall the whole neighborhood. It's on a corner lot there, and both roads are kind of busy, so I think it'll be something that will just improve the area.
I agree.
I agree too.
Can we get a motion on the case?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, in case number 8-2024 BZA, I move that we grant the variance, citing the staff report, citing the drawings that were submitted, the 4-page of documents, 1 survey, and 3 architectural sheets, and the other submittal from Hoover. Could I start in 1 year? I'll remember that sometime, Paul. Start in 1 year, complete in 2.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence.
Aye.
Mr. Shekels.
Aye.
Mr. Halpin.
Aye.
Mr. Scion.
Aye. With that, your case is approved by straw vote. So the staff will be in touch with you for the next steps.
Yep, thank you.
That's me. You emailed me to apply.
We want to make that corner even more attractive with the landscaping stuff. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Put it in the front
So since that was built in 1839, what kind of sewerage system did they do? Did they use, it's not cast iron, it's probably,
It originally had a sewer, just a septic system.
oh, a septic system? Yeah, that's right.
And then they put a sewer along Ayers Road. Therefore, if you're abutting a sewer line, you have to put in a
Sewer.
line to that sewer.
Yeah, and it was probably,
We are on septic tank because there are no sewers.
Yeah.
past our house.
So you need a sewage ejector, basically. If someone, they need a sewage ejector. Okay.
so it's,
They're the go-to for any questions we ever have about the district. And it may show how good, you know, we have a great relationship with our neighbors, and actually, he almost made me cry when he's saying, because we really appreciate it.
as a plumber's son, you know, I'm always curious about the sewer lines.
Yeah. Everything else in the house.
Are you ready to look at the next
That's right.
journaling?
Have a good night.
Thanks.
Good night. Thank you.
All right. Hey, you rock. I give it all. Yep.
I wonder if he doesn't have a sewer line running by his house with all the new houses back there.
I'm surprised he doesn't.
That has to come off of up the hill.
Probably.
Where's all the sewers come from, the service up, you know?
That's a MSG question.
Well, I'm just curious.
No, no.
No, don't even go there.
There'll be a test in the morning.
If you're interested in sewers, please contact the Metropolitan Sewer District.
I can give you a
Paul
phone.
and John.
That's your homework. Sign.
Paul and John on the field trip.
I'll call my son. He can check it out.
Can you check the, can you just double check
He
those
works for my-
on your copy, or that works too? That's also good to check. This is ready for you guys if you'd like to look at it.
I was speedy. I was working.
Yep.
Yeah.
All of them are ready.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
it's already up there.
Yes. And your $50 doesn't change based off of hours.
John was open.
Where's Jeff when we meet him?
Yes, that's right.
You know, with Jeff not here, I could say scroll up.
Can't read as fast as him.
Okay. Good.
I'm not in materials.
Didn't this one also give something today?
Yeah, they did.
Do we want to include that on there?
Shouldn't it say consistent with documents dated?
Yeah, and you can just change it to March 13th, 2024 and April 4th.
Is that for the letter she submitted?
Yeah, for the documents she submitted. I believe it was house manual and something else as well. Pictures of that. Oh, I believe where that one.
Interior.
photos and,
House rules.
emergency plan, house rules stuff.
I'm good with this.
Jimmy?
Can we get a motion?
Mr. Chairman, in the case of 4-2024 BZA, I move that we grant variance.
Approve and journalize.
Oh, okay, we've already granted, haven't we? Approve and journalize, yes, you're right.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
Mr. Shekel?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Science?
Aye. Ready for the next?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I had to reformat all of this based off your discussion, so if you could make sure to really read through this.
So they were talking about taking down the existing fence, or is that the existing fence what they've put
I
up?
think they're planning on taking it down.
Yeah, it was my understanding from their discussion
Yeah.
that the fence that we saw was installed by the flippers originally, that they haven't done anything with the fence at all.
And-
Except for the Kentucky board, which they got a zoning certificate for.
And the flippers didn't do a very nice job of that fencing.
No, they appeared to be your standard
Yeah,
flippers.
I mean, because wasn't it,
It's very
one plank,
wavy.
it was very, yeah,
Yeah.
wavy.
It's pretty inconsistent, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
know
it-
it'd be very easy just to level it out, though. I don't know why. I hope they don't go out and buy a new fence. All you
Yeah.
do is unscrew it and move them
Move
just a
'em,
little
yeah.
bit.
Kentucky board that they,
Track of
You could do that too.
the Kentucky board they installed with a permit is
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah, it's
That would
it's well
take the
done.
dog
Yeah,
ears
it's
off,
well
though.
Tell you.
And it would only be 5 foot 10 inches.
It'd still be under there.
That sounds like 6 foot to me.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
All right.
Can we get a motion to approve and journalize?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, in the case of 5-2024 BZA, I move that we approve and journalize.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Science?
Aye.
That happened at a different part of it too. Hold on, your BZA moved over here. There you go. Property owner doesn't need a period after it. Property owner has a period after
What's
it.
that?
Good.
I'm ready.
Yep.
24018.
Hold on, go back a little bit. Up a little more. Oh wait, that's the top. Go down.
Come on, Jeff.
We just want to confirm that the parcel is correct.
Yeah, I thought it said 0.75 feet, not 75 feet.
So there's 0.75 foot candles, which is the lighting standard.
Okay, I was
and then
flying
there's-
through it and I'm like,
yeah.
wait, that doesn't sound right.
Too many similar numbers.
What?
Which one was that? 5? That was 6.
Yep, that's 6.
This is 6.
We need an updated plan.
Oh, yeah.
It's a loud air conditioner. I keep thinking it's raining outside.
Yeah.
I think it's the air conditioner.
Yeah. I keep looking outside. I'm like, man, it's pouring.
No, the Jeff and me says put a period after scalable. There we go.
We get a motion?
We miss Mr. Jeff.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, in case number 6-2024 BZA, I move we approve and journalize.
Second?
You have a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence?
Aye.
Mr. Shekels?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Sion?
Aye.
So the
Yep.
woman that was objecting was a flipper.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yours
It would appear that way.
are being
Yeah.
recorded.
A slow flipper.
Yes. And those houses have a long history of being in violation, but between the bridge being condemned by the fire department to the houses themselves. When I started working at the township, we were in court with all 3 of them.
Wow.
You know, I'm amazed at the turnaround of this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would, because I go by there every day and, wow.
yeah.
So the flipper should like that. It enhances the eventuality of her house.
It looks dramatically better than it
Oh, yeah.
ever did.
Okay.
I felt a curse
What?
being put on
Is that
this.
the conditional, is that? We got conditional
which
there
point?
twice in the second sentence.
Second sentence?
Applicant requested a conditional use to allow for short-term rental. Short-term rentals are a conditional use. Okay.
It's period.
Period.
Period. Short-term rentals are conditional use.
No. Oh, well, no, he's good with that, yeah. Because you don't want to put a period after the second conditional, because it references why it's conditional. That Article 5.4, Y 15.
I can see if Jeff Nye is available for video call.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, while he's on vacation.
He's probably watching tonight, having a beer, laughing like crazy at us.
I think it's good.
I'm good with it.
I'm good.
Same here. Okay.
He doesn't mention maximum occupants on this. Just thought about that. Because he's got 3 cars, so that's 6 people. I don't even know how many bedrooms are in there.
He didn't mention it. He did say he's trying to tailor towards families and working professionals. I would say with the size of the home, I think amount of occupants is probably not too much of a concern.
I thought they had a rule book too that they had given us.
We don't have it on file, but we can request one. He'll be back in the next meeting, so I can send anything else we want. But
Okay.
a house rule book. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually did have a house of rules attached.
Oh, you did. That's correct.
Yeah.
All the cases are starting to morph after this past month.
Good.
I'm good.
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 We are not in February. That's on me.
Jeff would be proud of you.
The old copy and paste.
We get a motion?
That's what I'm here for.
Mr. Chairman, in the case of 7-2024 BZA, I move we approve and journalize.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence.
Aye.
Mr. Shekel.
Aye.
Mr. Halpin.
Aye.
Mr. Science.
Aye.
I meant to ask him what hole that was across the street.
I can give you his email if you would like.
There is no hole across the street from him. That's the
I
driving
thought there
range.
was a hole.
It's the driving range. It's got the pool on one side and the driving range on the other.
You know, the first hole is to the right of the driving range as you're there looking at the swimming pool.
Our first house in Anderson I bought from him.
Yeah?
Off Markley Road.
I'm good.
Good.
Bless you.
Go
Good.
ahead.
Good.
Yeah, we used to caddy at Cincinnati Country Club.
So did I.
Did you? When I was there, B caddy got 75 cents a bag.
I got $14 a bag.
Jeez. And A caddy got,
That was in the 80s.
That's when they had, yeah, that's when they had persimmon clubs too.
But I got tipped 50 cents.
but I was in the late 50s, early 60s.
I'm good.
I am too.
Can we get a motion?
I think so.
Well, consistent with the plans weren't dated, were they?
One should be dated on all of them. Do I have the?
I don't think the plans had any date on them, did they?
Well, I'll check the case folder real quick.
Was Billy
Did they?
Wood the pro when you were there?
Hmm?
Was Billy Wood the pro when you were there?
Yeah, so it's
The
dated 15,
Pro.
the
I don't remember.
March 15th.
Yeah, the letter has that.
All right.
The letter has that. Yep.
That works.
All right.
Can we get a motion?
Yes. Mr. Chairman, in case of 8-2024 BZA, I move we approve and journalize.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Lawrence.
Aye.
Mr. Shekel.
Aye.
Mr. Halpin.
Aye.
Mr. Science.
Aye. motion to adjourn?
Second.
I don't think we need to vote.
All in favor?
We're adjourned.
Great.
We're adjourned.